It's Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. Rather, more importantly, here on Ben and Tim's Advent Calendar, it's Christmas Eve Miles. I was promised Eve Miles from TV's Torchwood and probably other things. Yesterday's podcast, if you heard it. So I'm looking forward to this. Tim, where's me Eve Miles?
Yeah, we can't go wheeling out the big guns for sponsors because
big guns.
We're not quite at the artistic heights of Torchwood, you know. I mean, yeah, just imagine if we got an actor of the calibre of Bern Gorman to sponsor us.
If Bern Gorman is the Christmas Eve sponsor, I am burning down all Gormans.
Including Dave Gorman.
It's not his real name. It's a stage name, idiot.
It's not a real Dave.
Teddy from Play School's here. He's having a whale of a time. He's not. He's still not responding. It's just but who is today's sponsor on this?
Today's sponsor is Culture, Alienation, Boredom and Despair.
Right, no. You can't be sponsored by a lyric from the Manic Street Preachers.
No, it's not Culture, Alienation, Boredom and Despair, the lyric. It's Culture, Alienation, Boredom and Despair, the bloke that used to share a flat with our mate Gareth.
Right, that's it. I'm not playing this joke anymore.
And I used to see him get on the bus on my way to work and he'd say to Gareth, I saw Culture this morning. I'm like,
24 days you've done this to me.
But Culture, Alienation, Boredom and Despair is actually his real name, unlike Dave Gorman.
Oh my. We know what the true meaning of Christmas is. It's not all this nonsense about, teddies and presents and Eve Miles tits. It's novelty records that have been brought out by people who clearly always wanted to be pop stars and are very big in comedy, but never quite translate it to music. And with that in mind, here's Day 24's song.
Through the chicane.
My God, I wish it wasn't. Yes, of course, it's the official spin-off single from The Day Today. No, this is Tony Farino, otherwise known as Steve Coogan, doing an interesting character that is kind of seen as a flop now, but there was a good intention behind it, I would say.
I actually think I really like Tony Farino. I think the album works better than the TV specials did because the problem they made was they tried to make it too plausible. It should have just been played for laughs. I mean, you look at the fact that this was the B-side of a cover of Help Yourself.
The Tom Jones
which was just a cover of Help Yourself. There's no joke to it.
And he turned up on all sorts. So this is kind of like a fake, it's like Julio Iglesias type singer. Turned up on everything. He was on Live and Kicking, Clive Anderson, Des O'Connor, Royal Variety Performance even. Yeah. It turned up everywhere.
There was a funny backstory to the character as well, like... he was originally in the singing trio with his brothers and he'd murdered both of them, but only one body had been found. And the mother kept saying the other one might still be alive. You go like, no.
But yeah, so they launched this character, even though this is pre-I'm Alan Partridge, the year before, in fact, 96. And Coogan wasn't a household name then.
No.
And yeah, I'm not quite sure. People didn't know who Steve Coogan was. They didn't know who Tony Farino was.
Yeah.
And they launched him with two specials. The Tony Farino phenomenon is a perfect example of a pastiche of those shiny floor shows that the BBC used to make at Christmas. A big Christmas show. And there loads of guests of that. Bjork turns up and stuff. But then they put it on New Year's Day, 97, on BBC Two at 9:30. And so all you're really getting there is smart people who know already who it is.
Yeah.
Who are a bit cynical for it when it should have gone out at like 8 o'clock BBC One on like Boxing Day or something.
Well, I think part of the problem was they invested so much thinking it'd be a hit and it wasn't as big a hit as they thought, and I think he probably lost more money because wasn't there supposed to be 2 weeks of concerts at the Jazz Cafe tying in with it which were cancelled before any of them happened.
I remember the album, the standing joke was the actual album Tony Farino released, Phenomenon. It's like sold about 48 copies or something.
One of them to me.
And of course, the songs were written by Steve's brother, Martin Coogan, who is otherwise better known, I suppose, for
being in the Mock Turtles, writing Can You Dig It?
Yeah.
And he's also in Alpha Papa, as are the rest of the Mock Turtles, in small roles.
One of the funniest things in I've ever heard was, for some reason, when the awful remix of Can You Dig It came out.
Oh, God, yeah.
Fatboy Slim did for that advert. Martin Coogan was on Roundtable, the revived version with Six Music, and Steve was with him, so he came in and he did it, and he was like, it's like, I think Steve Lamacq, or it may have been still Andrew Collins at that point, and said,
I think it was Andrew Collins.
Do you get bored with people always wanting that song? And he's like, yeah, I suppose it does. It follows you around a bit. And like Steve Coogan was like, yeah, because people are always walking round after you in shopping centres shouting, "Can you dig it?"
Yeah, but to be fair, I have done that.
You would. And don't forget that Tony Frino won Denmark's coveted Golden Throat Award, a record twice. Widely adored across Brazil and Iraq.
But what's happened to the tie-in single of the real Ghostbusters fridge magnet that he did? He made that up by himself. He invented it.
Is that what we're going to end this on? A massively obscure niche reference to something from on the hour.
That wasn't even written by Steve Coogan.
If that isn't the true spirit of Christmas, I don't know what is. So thank you all for listening to. If you've listened to all of these, especially, they've been a lot of fun to do. I've really enjoyed doing these, and I guess all that remains is to say Merry Christmas. And we'll see you in the new year with loads of new Banatical stuff. Me and Tim will do stuff. We may even find Phil Catterall. We'll see where he's buried. I mean, where he is definitely not buried.
And yeah, that was very definitely the last one, listeners.
What?
It's very like the Tom Jones version, isn't it? It's almost like doing a karaoke with the backing. It's
very funny, you know. You're a very sharp guy, yeah. Sharp as a knife. Better watch you don't stab yourself in the back down a dark alley. You know what I'm saying?